Welcome to your daily dose of Diablo. Today we're going to ask the question, how good is KANO? Now, a good friend, well, you know, he did fly all the way from Australia to Dallas, Texas, where I live, and not say hello. So, but this is how good is KANO at Diablo 2. Now, Mr. KANO has been around in the speedrunning scene for a few years now, going back into LOD and then, of course, continuing into Diablo 2 Resurrected, where he has really started to put it on, I would say, and start crushing it with some Diablo 2 speedrunning. I've talked with him, worked with him, and figured out some potential criteria because I wanted to get a decent set of criteria to really determine what is the best way to visually see and rank how good someone is at Diablo 2 speedrunning. And this is what we have come up with. It is over here, and then we can go back there. At the top, I have map reading. Now, I believe, this is KANO's list as well, I believe you could put in-game skills and mechanics above map reading, as there is, of course, plenty of difference between top speedrunners and regular casual Diablo 2 players, just in terms of in-game skills and mechanics. However, I believe once you get into the intricacies and you have high enough skill players, map reading really does come in and play a huge factor. So at the top, we have map reading, followed by in-game skills and mechanics. Then we have decision making, theory crafting, menuing, and item reading speed. I believe this is a pretty good order to determine all these things. Now, here we have a list of KANO's current runs and records and places with all of the things. Many of these, for instance, the torch, Hell Druid torch isn't going to have a lot of competition, but these any percent bales are going to be pretty competitive generally and have some very good times. So you can see a lot of first, some second, some thirds, a little fifth there on the PX Sorceress Hell, and just some various stuff. But he does have good presence overall, and of course a lot of first place and a lot of very good categories. So I would say, and maybe even something we could add to the list potentially, variety. I do believe KANO does get a 10. He plays all of the classes, as you can see: Druid, Bard, Amazon, Assassin, Sorceress, Necro, Paladin, right? He has all of the classes where he is able to go and tackle. And this isn't true for everybody, and this wasn't true for KANO initially. KANO used to be pretty much a Druid main, where he focused solely on the Druid runs and didn't do too much outside of it. However, in the recent years, he has expanded that and done a lot more. So let's pick a random run. I have chosen the normal Paladin, and let's go through this run and give a little bit of just a breakdown of exactly what is happening, as well as how we're going to use this to determine these various criteria up in the top left, because there's a lot to determine right there. So when we say map reading, we mean how quickly not only do you know the basics of your maps, which pretty much every speedrunner is going to know that, right? I go left when I enter the Countess, into the tower. Each level is left to the exit and all of those pieces. But additionally, it's going to be how well do you recognize tiles? And I think that is probably the bigger piece. Knowing where you're going to, when you're going to come up on a dead end tile and be able to turn around and go back from that. So that's what I'm talking about for map reading. For in-game skill mechanics, it's going to be how often are you, how well are you surviving in difficult situations? How well are you determining, should I fight this? Should I not fight this? For instance, and this could be a small thing, right here, he runs up, around, and then cuts back. That's not an optimal running path. Now, That's extremely nitpicky, and that's, very whatever. But that is something there where you can say, okay, that was, not the best decision of timing. However, it was a decision he made to hit level 3. Thus, in the decision-making aspect, maybe it wasn't such a terrible idea, because getting level 3 was something that was going to be beneficial. Get him the Might Aura, heading down into the den. Was it actually worth it? Debatable, right? So just some stuff to think about. So does not have enough gold. Does not have enough gold. Just has enough gold. That's actually hilarious. He had 351 gold and could have had 2, I suppose, with the other. Now, menuing is going to, of course, be how quickly you're able to push through the menus. So that's going to be that idea. And then item reading speed is going to simply be that. How fast are you able to read your items, and then kind of make decisions on the items as well. That could kind of be decision making, but that's, the general idea. And then theory crafting is one that I think is kind of the broadest, and that's going to be how, I like to call it creativity as well. How open and creative are you to using what you find and adjusting, and also coming up with your own unique styles, strategies for different things. For instance, I give KANO a boost in points for using the javelins that he picked up right there, right? And we'll go back really fast, and then we can, so he goes in, and he kills, and he finds superior javelins, and instantly he's got them right there, and he's already throwing javelins, right? And that is actually a decent way to play, right? To be able to say, okay, quick, onto those. And it's not just that, it's also, and we're gonna zip around. It's also that he weapon swapped into picking up the javelins. So he didn't grab the javelins and then open up his inventory. Watch this, right? We're weapon swap and the jabs are in. Instantaneous. These are small details, but really things that I don't think people get to appreciate as much. And so I wanted to point it out and show it, right? That's something that is a small save a second, right? You get the weapon swap, and now look, he's able to snipe these zombies from afar. He doesn't have to run all the way back up anymore and fight those zombies. Now, javelins very early can be extremely powerful, right? They can be extremely, extremely powerful. And so they're one of the best things in the game. So that can be just super nice. Taking out, of course, these shamans. I do feel like we're a little bit long right now in fighting some of these guys, but it's not too bad. So that is going to be general. We'll just kind of continue through. And again, having these jabs to kind of snipe down does help right there. Very quick, of course, on getting his stats in. So, decision-making, menuing. I would say that is one of his biggest strengths. He is very, very good at his menuing and being able to decide. We can actually see his item reading right there. Pretty quick. And we can, of course, just watch here as we take down the initial boss. And again, noting that, he's not really when he's putting these skills in, when he's doing these things, he's not losing time, Now that was a little bit of a time loss. And probably a little unnecessary even. So while he's fighting, sometimes it can be nice while you're fighting to do things as such. But I would say in that instance, he lost a couple of hits and ran around a little bit with corpse fire when he could have just, used this time right now while he's running over to do so. But that right there, very good menuing, not having any issues. Let's go ahead and see how quickly he can go through. Read. All right, he's able to pick up a 2 max damage very quickly. and very good potion buying speed as well. So moving forward here, going through the Cold Plains, able to find a boss group. And very quick. I mean, look at how fast that is in getting the Holy Bolt set, right? It's no wasted time. He's not sitting there still fighting with his, just might aura smacking a couple dudes here and there. He is extremely quick. As soon as that level 6 is there, he's ready, which gives a lot of preparedness, right? And it just means he is thinking ahead, which is one of the things that you want to be able to do as you are playing through. You want to make sure that you are able to be thinking into the future and saying, okay, what am I going to be doing next, right? As opposed to always reacting, going, oh, snap, I'm level 6 now. Okay, at level 6, I go Holy Bolt, right? You want to say, I know what's coming. So, for instance, having to take a slight second there to swap over because he was on the wrong, combat, or he was on the wrong skill tree. I mean, that's fine, but stuff that you do want to always think and be aware of. He swaps to the old graphics for easier menuing in the potion buying. So if you buy potions on Resurrected, like in the not old graphics, you have to be pixel perfect with it. You can't move your mouse one bit while you're spamming your potion buy. If you move even a pixel, then it screws it up. In the old graphics, there's more leniency. So here, that was some good fighting right there. And additionally, if we go back to like Rakanishi right here, something you have to be aware of course, is the spread of the mobs and what direction you want to be going in. So you need to be aware of where they're all going to be running, because when everyone dies, they run away, right? So you can see him kind of get them right there, and that's a beautiful move. Shifting over to the left, now you're killing towards the exit, so you're able to move towards the right, and you're able to kill as you work your way towards the exit, instead of continuing to push all of the Fallens further and further left, thus causing more time, right? So that can just be a big waste overall if you do that. Able to get his stats in while moving there. And we can continue to move through Underground Passage. Nice checks. I would like to see him using F5 a little more. You can see he has throw set. But he's already had like 2 or 3 misfires just on Holy Bolt alone. Ooh, that was close. So that would be something I would say, is I feel like he's just running with Holy Bolt. And the problem is, especially in dark areas like this, when you're running with Holy Bolt, it's just going to leave you where, all of a sudden a monster appears and you're just going to misfire, right? You're just going to automatically fire off a shot. And that's just going to have you in a difficult spot. So that is something I do think I'd like to see him work a little bit more into this run specifically, right? Just whenever you have a ranged skill on your F1 or whatever. He's using Force Move. I know he's using Force Move, but he's still had a couple misfires. So he's not always been Force Moving. Like he shot at that nest earlier, and then he took a shot at this. At that other group in the underground. So I know he's force moving, but he's not always force moving. Why are we watching this? We're doing a How Good is KANO breakdown. Then we'll get in, we'll do some source runs and such. But this is your daily dose of Diablo 2. I should probably put the logo up over here as well. Daily dose of Diablo. Image. Oh, I didn't. browse. There you go. I don't know where to put this. Sure. So this is the KANO. Yeah, probably good ideas for the future. Put the run and all that stuff. So again, you know, map reading down like in here is not that big of a deal. It's a nice line he got on all those ghosts. And again, immediately into charge. So I do think like he's predicting his future very quickly. That's something that I know for myself, but also I've seen for other runners, right? Where you get kind of caught fighting some mobs or whatever it is. And then a second later you go, oh, wow, I'm level 12. I have charge available and I haven't been using charge for a few seconds. Yeah, okay. We can add text. Well, we'll make this prettier in the future. This is runner KANO run a % norm paladin. Beautiful. How's that? Immediately goes to the shrine, right? So you know he remembers his shrine, which is great. And, you know, I'm going to be skipping around again, right? We're trying to get a general sense of the runner here. I love this decision. So when you're right here, you have a second boss group guaranteed down in this bottom right. And he knows it's archers because it's always the same in normal. And so whenever it's, you know, archers, it's always going to be archers. So what does he do? Instead of stopping to fight this one boss here, then this boss here, he actually goes and scans down here. So now he can fight both at the same time, and he's able to shoot through, right? Because you have the piercing effect of the holy bolts. He's able to shoot through and hit both at the same time. So that's just like small details, right? That again, you're going to just be continuing to improve and increase your abilities by making moves like that. Now, I'm actually very shocked if we go back that he does not pick this quilted armor up. He literally hovers over it like 3 or 4 times, and he does not have a 2-socket armor. So that is a little bit of a mistake, potentially in the item reading, I would say. Quilted armors are great. So that would be one that I would say, you know, you always want to be, because that's just second saved, right? If you don't find a 2 open socket armor, now you're having to go back and you're gonna have to go and get your 2-socket armor again. You know, you can try and get it later on, but if he has to go shop for it, now he's just wasted time shopping, right? Again, picks up another experience shrine. That's very nice. Just gets some really great boss groups. And here you can actually see he makes this decision of checking up. And he probably wasn't going to check much further than that, but, you know, a good sense of checking just to get the experience, especially while you have the experience shrine. So I do like that. Here, this boss group's going to be a little bit too far to go down there as well and like get them both at the same time. But able to get that boss group and continuing. He does see the light over there. So it is interesting. He decided not to continue over there because that boss group might have been right nearby. When you see that light, you can have a sense that they're there. And he gets tier S.
Moo.
And
Yay,
has to go
a free
again.
Prime sub.
Thank you, Lemur. So let's see on this one if he's not even checking for that boss group over there, which I would argue you could potentially say, yes, he doesn't have the experience shrine. He probably just wants to get to the end here and get his runes, right? Because this is his 4th tower run, I believe. So you don't want to spend too much time there. But I do think he could have still done it. So we'll move around. Fallen group right there. Pretty good lining up. Does pick up the helm this time. So that is good. Down to players 1. And gets Tal and Eth, which is always how it goes, right? Always how it goes. Gets a Tirun in the helm. And now here you can see he goes. And he does get the immediate shop. So he gets a little lucky that the shop happens instantly. That was some rough menuing right there. That was some rough menuing. But again, like, why didn't he pick it up, right? The 2 open socket earlier. So that's just something that he missed. Here we can go ahead and get a good sense. Nice FCR. Nice reading through there. I'd say he could be a little faster in his item reading. I actually feel like that is a little slower for him here. But wow, another experience shrine. And he makes the decision not to grab it and instead save it for later, which is a very good decision. So again, decision making, he gets another point. Decision making, he gets another point right there. I also think the instant jam up of pure, yeah, now he's going to go grab it. Because the reason it's a good decision is he's not killing anything on the way there, right? He's a high enough level that he's not killing anything. Now he's heading into the barracks. Barracks is full of boss groups. So you can get tons and tons of boss groups in the barracks. So picking it up there is, just a better way to guarantee that, not guarantee, but give you a better chance of getting 1-2 additional bosses. And doesn't pick any up there, but he gets it in the jail now as well, where you can come across, I don't know, a champion fallen group that is worth tons of experience. Right? That's massive. So really is probably worth almost killing like every single group there. And wow, what a great map. What a really nice map that was. Trying to get a sense of his map reading. I know he's got solid map reading. A great job with the chip sapphire to a flawed sapphire. You might say, why? The reasoning is the flawed sapphire, I'm assuming, he will be putting into a helm or something later on. I know he has a single Tirun in a helm at the moment, but he can put that in a helm and get some additional mana. So just using gem shrines very quickly can be really, really nice. And a nice job. I mean, again, so far the maps have been pretty cooperative, so I don't feel like we've seen too crazy of map reading. I don't think anything's been, that absurd. He hasn't had some crazy turnarounds he's had to like figure out or anything. Able to pick up another really nice group with this experience shrine. And this is where I'd say that saving that Black Marsh experience shrine really paid off, right? Because before it's like, okay, sure, he probably still would have had it by the jail. But he wouldn't have had it by now. And so by saving it there, he actually was able to use that experience shrine on a shaman group, which is really nice. Okay, we're going to kill some of these guys. Interesting what that was. So he sets a TP. Is this just a misclick of it all? Ah, yeah, he just misclicked. But while it was a misclick, I will say he did a great job of using the downtime. Because when you click through a portal, there's a couple of seconds that you can't click through the portal again. He didn't just stand around clicking on the portal spamming. He actually used that time to get his potion set. So again, I think that was very smart. These are small optimizations that, you know, we're seeing him do that really are worth a decent amount. So Catacombs can be a good place to see some map reading as well. There's another chip sapphire. And yep, able to recognize that. I would have also gone through there. I would have been fine. Given a run around here, but you can see like he's not going down in there because he doesn't need to. It would pick up the level 3. And let's see, the 4 doesn't give a check for the mobs in there. So that's something I would have liked, but maybe he doesn't feel he wants any more experience at this point. But I mean, you are going to kill zombies. Zombies are decent experience here. Just a nice, nice spot in there. Picks up the breastplate for gold. So good money management. And adjust down to players 1. Killing there, meh. It's always so tempting, but it's not really worth anything. All right, and nice out of Act 1. So able to have that ruby and that flawed sapphire, which are really nice. Probably going to look for a 2-socket helm, I would imagine.
Moo.
As a streamer, do you like answering the same questions over and over?
Wow. +2 blessed
share
hammer.
This with me. You having quite a treasure now.
We'll play that later. I'll pause it for now. 2 to blessed hammer. So 10 out of 10 on the luck scale, I guess. Experience shine, experience shine, experience shine, and 2 blessed hammer. That's crazy. Gonna go check his shrines again. And going to respec into hammers because, hey, why not at this point? It's actually crazy that he also got that 18 and everything there. He just had a lot of really nice stuff. Pretty good in the menuing. Able to find a 2-socket helm. I like that he was looking in both places. And here you're going to see he's going to go the ruby and that flawed sapphire. So again, the reason that he picked up that flawed sapphire or the gem shrined it was so he could have that for a little bit extra mana. Chance for Frost Nova Belt, really nice. I don't know if that was necessary. He traded all that for a single fire res. I guess he gets 2 decks as well. It's a little funny though. Is this actually going to be better here? Oh, he's resetting his shrine. Okay. That's fair. And getting everything set while he's walking. Pretty well done. He's going to definitely have 1 life after getting hit with an Inferno in Act 3. And it's going to be like Sea Llama. Pretty simple. Good positioning. We can get a sense of his map reading out here. How quickly is he going to find this is the wrong way? Or the right way? Just killing stuff. All right. So we'll keep moving through. And we can check and see his scouting. Does run all the way to the wall right there. So I feel like slightly over scout, but it is also a little difficult to determine with the paladin because you're charging so quickly that you do just kind of overrun a little bit extra. But pretty good running there. Able to pick up a quick level 2. Able to pick up a quick level 3. So far, the maps have just been cooperative. I mean, look at that. That's just like all right there. He doesn't even have to show off great map reading skills. All the maps are being in kind of their predictive spots. So when I say that, Amanda, again, I mean, you have your general, this is what your map is going to be, right? Like you want to go to the right when you go in the maggot lair, right of the way you came in, right? That's just very simple. Everybody knows that. But sometimes you have to go left, left, left or something, right? You have to go like around in these crazy ways and you get difficult maps and you have to kind of read them a little better. So you always take your first pick and then you have to make decisions after that. So far, these have all been the first pick, right? Even right there, it's just straight across. You didn't have to make any real decisions around what way to go. So here I would say, he has to make a decision. Does he continue up or go down here? I think going down is the proper way, and he's able to pick it off. So, that was proper. And then just straight across again. Yeah, these have just been really nice. Gonna kill Cold Worm. I actually like it, especially on the Hammered, and when you have +2 Blessed Hammer. I've had Cold Worm drop like Hisaurus Boots and things. He can drop you some nice stuff. So I think it's worthwhile. I also do like his going over. I don't know about using that to refill. Like he's already got a health potion going and he's 66 out of 99 mana. Kind of wasting a little bit of time charging all the way down to just pick up the refilling shrine, but not a huge deal, just like small pieces. Running along stairs, going to the right side, going to be the better way, able to determine that is not the right way. So that was good. You can see he didn't continue all the way to this wall. And then we know that's going to be up here. Leaves Beetle Burst alone. Okay, and then goes back to Beetle Burst. So I guess makes the decision a little bit afterwards that he actually does want him. Because I was going to say, you probably do want to kill Beetle Burst. And probably was just checking to see what that shrine was. And... Got it. So smart decisions. Going to the bottom left here is an interesting choice. I guess he just wants to find stairs and then... Oh, okay. Sorry, we're in that. I thought we were in a different angle. Leaves those guys alone. And there you go. All right. Very quick. Better read than me. Goes down to P1. And again, let's see what the maps give him. Okay, so very good recognition that he hits the dead end there. And another dead end. And yeah, turns around those stairs pretty well. And it's going to be right there. Pretty good. Okay. Arcane Sanctuary is going to be the Arcane Sanctuary. You're just going to kind of run it. With your slight adjustment based on direction. But path is also very important. So he does a pretty good job of getting through, I would say. And good recognition. He's actually really good at reading the arcane maps from afar. So for instance, you can get right up here. One more. You can get right here, and then you can know, nope, it's not there. Third direction. This one, I believe you do have to get a little closer. I think from the other way, you can actually get a sense, but not this side. All right, so a fourth way is the arcane. A little unfortunate. And able to check for moon. Little bit low on it, or high on it there. Not a big deal. All right, let's get a sense of his map reading through here in the tombs. Wow. I mean, there's a lot of boss in there. You got to fight all this, right? Like... So I'm actually curious why he decided not to go that direction at first. Wow. These maps are just being really sweet, minus the arcane. Able to plug that in really quickly, which is nice. It looked like a turn. I could ask him next time he visits Dallas. Yeah, that'd be nice. Yeah, I thought it was a straight across. Okay, so maybe a small misread on that map then. And Duriel kill, pretty easy. Okay, let's jump forward to Act 3. Let's go check his belt. It's not bad. And Act 3. I like it. That's a little trick that I constantly think about doing, but I don't do too often, leaving the TP right outside. Now, he's running around without his map on, which is very interesting. It does connect through there, though. Oh, okay, never mind. That was the next one. Oh my god, turn your map on. Driving me crazy. And does run into a nice flare jungle. It's pretty sweet. Doesn't have the spider cavern yet, but that means the waypoint of the flare jungle is either right here or in the next one. So that's pretty sweet. And that just leads up to Spider Cavern. Okay, let's see his Spider Cavern. That's a pretty quick read of direction. It's a very good knowledge of the Spider Cavern map. And immediately down into the flare. What's funny is now he has the map on. But the flare jungle, you don't need it. Okay, so it could be in there. He's not going to waste his time going in, which is very smart. And again, it's either in there or in here. So you might as well only check one of them, right? Ooh, dangerous. And there we can see he did check. And sees that it is not in there. So it's very, very small details when you're checking. Okay, picks up there, goes through here. We're going to kind of zip around through most of this, as now we're just kind of charging through everything. Yep, knows that map. It's a pretty easy one. Okay. Not bad, but at this point, he might as well be belt popping. Like, he picks up literally, you know, I mean, you might as well just pop your belt a couple times. So, and we all do it. Sometimes you just kind of spam. But he belt pops. Belt popping is faster to do when you have your 3 belt, and especially if there's no rejuves in it. So it was early habits from a year plus ago. Yeah. This is only 4 months ago, though. So what's your excuse now, Kano? I'm pretty sure it is. It was submitted 4 months ago. Unless you did a really late highlight. Okay, that's a decent check. Sewers. You got an inside sewers. Inside sewers and a 4th way arcane. I mean, you had a lot of experience shrines early, and you had +2 blessed hammer imbue, so it's not like you didn't have some pretty great maps in a lot of places, but those two do suck. Very quick on getting the heart, and just look at how quick he is to get the heart over, right? And get everything set up. It's really well done. That is something, you know, I almost, like I say, want to have a category of future predictiveness. Because I think that's somewhere he actually shines really well. Preparedness? Maybe that's what it is. Being prepared for the next steps. Okay, maps, yep. Kind of falls under menuing. I don't think so. I think preparedness is not really, yeah, foresight. You know what? I like that. I'm going to put it here. I think that's great. Why not 5 sight? It's true. Prepping the battlefield. See, now he goes in and oops. Pops belt. So yeah, he just had some small, you know, probably old habits still. Again, we all do it sometimes where we're just like old habiting it. Okay. River of Flame. Yeah, I mean, City of the Dang just kind of gives it to him. Checking for a skill shrine, I'm guessing? For Diablo? Is that the thought? It's very... See, I think that's where I like the word creativity. But I'll put that under theory crafting. I think that's really smart. Now, if you don't use it, well, then you lose all the points that I was going to give you. But that's the sort of small theory crafting stuff. I think that goes a long way. Combat shrines for a barb before a boss fight. Skill shrines for, you know, hammer in before Diablo, whatever. Ooh. Spicy. Very spicy. Ah, he does use it. Good job, Kano. Okay. All right. Diablo fight done. Quick popping to leave there. Charging through here is just charging through here. Yeah, now we're just running to Ancients, so this is all pretty whatever. We can take a look at some map reading, but if they're pretty standard, then... yeah, nothing too crazy there. Nothing left to kill or anything at this point. You're going to be too low of a level to really get anything from it, so... we can read on this. That's a decent turn there. And a good avoidance. I mean, it's obvious, but still. Getting down Talik. Getting down Korlik. I actually like that he's balancing it pretty nicely while making sure the hammers kind of have the opportunity to hit all three of them. I do think in that instance right there, he could have just gone over to Maddock. Korlik would have jumped him, and then he could have saved a couple seconds. Not a big deal, but something like that would have been nice. All right, map reading over here. Turn, yep. Pretty good on that turn. Not going into there is good. Let's kick out left. I like the well drink also. TP set. Huh. I feel like you have enough money, you don't need to actually go back to Act 4. I do like going back through the Haragoth portal. But at 40k, you're only buying regular mana potions. Probably unnecessary going back. But I mean, hey, we'll see maybe. Maybe Paladin on Bale takes some extra time or something. You saw only your gold, not your stash gold? Oh, okay. It's all right. We'll drop you a point. I like the working his way into kind of the center of the throne there to drag, you know, some more guys. I do think he could have kept pushing a little bit more. I mean, you know, these witches are going to be pretty stationary, but the Death Lords are just going to follow you wherever. So I'd say going after those witches a little bit more would have been better. Let's see how many skips he's able to get. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so he gets 4 out of 5. Pretty good. I do think trying to fight these guys is bold. Interesting cut over there. Yeah, I don't know what you were thinking. Okay, you're able to get them on the second drag down. But, wow. I'm actually surprised you were able to get... I guess you hung out low enough. Yeah, for a long enough time. That makes sense. And still all said and done. I mean, that's a fantastic time. 56:48. Very nice. Definitely some sweet gear along the way there. Just some sweet pieces. But yeah, I think it's good. That's a run I haven't seen before, so it was nice to be able to walk through and kind of do that. So let's go ahead and take a look, and let's make our decisions. Let's go back here. Let's make our decisions. So, how good is KANO? Let's award some points. KANO is definitely one of the best runners in the scene. I think there was a lot of really good things. I think Foresight, I actually believe he was 10 out of 10. I thought Foresight was one of the strongest skills. So strong, I had to create a category for it. This was something that we saw consistently throughout the run. He was always looking ahead at what the next thing was going to be. Right when he was going to hit level 6, he was on it. He got his Holy Bolt out as soon as he hit level 6. Right when, when he went into Diablo there, as soon as he hit that River of Flame, he's checking the waypoint in the Black Marsh to see if he has a skill shrine, right? Like, he was constantly prepped for level 12 with charge, level 6 with that. Every level that was important, every place that it could be beneficial to do that stuff, I thought Foresight was great. So I'm going to give him 10 out of 10 there. I thought he did a really good job with Foresight. Next one I want to do is map reading. I thought his map reading was pretty decent. It did feel like there were still a couple of places. I'm going to give him a 9 out of 10. I think there was still a tiny bit of room to improve. And I think his map reading is still better than mine. I'm not saying that I'm a 10 out of 10 and he's 9 out of 10 compared to me. I think that he read the maps pretty well. This one, the maps were kind of pretty standard for the most part going through. I didn't feel like there was too many crazy map reads he had to make, but he did a pretty good job in some of the tougher parts. And this one I think is harder for you guys to see because you're not going to know all the tiles that are dead ends and when you should see it and turn around and all of that. But I'm thinking to in the Act 2, Talrash's tombs, kind of being a little indecisive of, making the right push through and stuff. I just felt there were a couple places it could have been a little bit cleaner. In-game skills and mechanics, I'm actually going to give him an 8 out of 10. I thought this was a little bit interesting, and maybe that's a little low, but I felt like there were many instances where he was very he plays very risky, but it felt like there were many instances where he could have played a little better. So just whether it's a little bit of positional, whether it's a little bit of, just kind of being in the right spot. I guess that's positional. Survivability, a little slow sometimes, and reacting with potions. And there were just a few instances where I felt like he got really jammed low on life, and one crit or one extra hit, he was dead there. I think he could have played a little stronger, but he still played great. I mean, he played great, right? Like, I'm not saying he's bad, right? I'm saying I just thought his in-game skill and mechanics could have been a little stronger in this instance. Maybe it was just a rough run of that, right? Maybe just on this run that wasn't so much the case. And I did think he had, better positioning. I would say the positional pieces and things I'm actually going to put more in decision making, and I think that's like a 9.5. I thought his decision making was pretty solid through most of it. Maybe a 9.25. Going back to like Act 4 for the potions and stuff, when you've got the gold and these things, I would say wasn't the greatest. The decision to try and like charge back up with wave 5 was interesting, but it definitely felt like it wasn't going to work. I would have been shocked if he was able to actually get wave 5 on that charge back and stuff. So, maybe just like playing it really close and risking it a little. But that's the case. Could be his knowledge of the game that he knows is safe at 10 HP. Look, I mean, there is playing to, I run around with 2 life all the time, right? Like there's plenty of times where you can play low life and be fine. But I thought there were just instances where you couldn't really determine it. Death could have been there. Again, 10 out of 10 foresight. I thought I did fantastic there. Theory crafting, I think, it's hard for me to find any faults on the theory crafting. This is one that you probably need more overall to really get a sense of it. I'm going to give him a 9.5 out of 10. When I think of theory crafting again, I think a little bit of like foresight, right? They kind of go hand in hand. But I think of like using the skill shrine on Diablo. I think that's a little bit of like the theory crafting. Picking up the javelins and using the jabs early in the den. But also like the weapon swap pickup that he had. I thought that was really creative and a really, really small but well done thing that KANO did. So he's not picking it up, then opening his inventory, then setting them there and all of that. But he's already ready to throw them. Proper imbue timing and all these things are kind of nice. So theory crafting, I think, hard to fault much. You can always be a little more creative in some ways, but I thought he did a really good job. Menuing, I thought his menuing was pretty solid. I'm trying to remember. There was a little bit of menuing issues early on. So I'm going to give him, in this run in particular, I'm going to give him an 8.8. I think he's better in menuing overall, but in this run, I'll give him a 9. In this run in particular, I thought he was a little bit, he had some misses, right? Where he was kind of like getting all caught up and stuff early, which was, causing some troubles. And then when he wasn't popping his belt and he was just manually buying the potions there and things like that. So he had a couple mistakes in the menuing that cost him a little. But otherwise, I thought he did a pretty good job with the menuing. I also thought menuing while he was fighting corpse fire, that, cost him a couple seconds and things. Again, it's nitpicky, but the run is sub an hour. Every second, everything right there is, something to note. And item reading speed, I'm actually going to give him the lowest of all of the scores right here. I'm going to give him a 7.8. Now, why am I giving him a 7.8? It's less so exactly the item reading and more so I felt like this was actually the poorest part of his play, which is surprising because normally I feel like he has better item reading. And maybe it was just, again, a tough game. But for instance, missing the quilted armor early was like really brutal. Again, it didn't cost too much because he got lucky. He just went up and found a 2-socket. But just like going right over it, I thought was a little rough right there. I felt there were just a couple of times he was kind of sitting on items a little bit longer than necessary. But also, reading on ground and reading, beyond. I felt like there's another instance I can't remember, but I remember thinking, that was a little bit, tough as well. Yeah, this isn't just reading the affixes on an item. This is also reading items across the ground that you're coming across, right? This is kind of all of the item reading pieces. So I believe, and this I also think is the least important skill, right? In general. So it's not like as big of a deal, but, I felt like there was, a few instances in this run where that one, I felt like, it could have been, a little faster there, but it's not. Again, this is not like every run that he has. This is not all of this stuff. This is just from this run that we watched. And you can, generally take these and push this overall, to the general player and stuff. But I felt like that was the weakest spot. So this is my overall rankings when we ask the question, how good is KANO? This is how good KANO is in Diablo 2 speedrunning. Now, this is pretty good. Again, KANO is one of the best runners. I actually think his item reading speed is a little bit higher than that in general. Again, I thought in this run it was worse than I've normally seen. So I actually think his item reading speed is better than that. But I mean, that's a pretty good set of scores. If you have this set of scores, you're going to be racing pretty well. You're going to have some records, which he does. I will be very interested to see in the future, reviewing other runners and seeing kind of how we give scores there and seeing where players end up kind of balancing out. So how good is KANO? That good. Anyways, this was your first episode of your daily dose of Diablo. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I will catch you guys tomorrow in the next one. Peace.